I grew up in Montgomery, and my dad was a Baptist preacher. I was the oldest of 6 kids, and so I went to public schools there. Graduated from Lanier High School. We used to come to Dothan, big rivalries in the old days, playing against Dothan. But then I was fortunate enough to get a basketball scholarship to Huntington College and play basketball there. And then I was lucky I got a scholarship to Cumberland Law School at Sanford University. And when I got out of law school, I came home to Montgomery in 1979 and started practicing law. And I've been in private practice now for 31 years. I've started my own firm along with a couple of my friends back in 1988. And we now have offices in Birmingham and Montgomery, and we've got about 25 total employees. I do trial work. Mainly I represent insurance companies and people and businesses that are getting sued. I do a lot of work with the Ethics Commission. Governor Wallace appointed me to the Ethics Commission in 1986, and I was the youngest person at that time appointed to the Ethics Commission. And I've been Lieutenant Governor Bax has appointed me to the State Personnel Board, and I serve on that, the State Employees Insurance Board. I've been active in the Bar Association. I was elected 3 consecutive terms, and they have term limits with the bar, a little different. And I served as a vice president of our state bar. 100 years ago, I was president of our Young Lawyers section of the bar, and I've been involved. But I've tried cases here in Dothan. I've tried cases here in the federal courthouse and the state courthouse in Dothan and all over the state. Unlike my opponent, I'm running against a guy that's never tried a case. In fact, I looked him up, and I have appeared, and I looked myself up, I've appeared in 2,267 cases in the Alabama court system as of 2 weeks ago. And my opponent had appeared in 7. All he's done, the best thing I could figure out is he's filed some motions, and that's about it. Then I thought, well, he's with a big silk stocking firm in Birmingham because he lives in Mountain Brook, and maybe he's been in federal court. And so I looked up on the federal courts. I've appeared as a lawyer for 104 people and companies in federal court in the states of Alabama, and my opponent has appeared 1 time, filed 1 motion. So it kind of solidifies that all he's ever done is lobby. And he spent over 20 years of his career living in Washington and lobbying up there. And that's all he's been doing since he's been back, is he's lobbied, and he's started a new bank in Mountain Brook with some of his other big business buddies. And I get confused sometimes when I listen to him. I think he's running for industrial development director or developer of a business in Alabama, but what the Attorney General does is represent people. It's a lawyer's job, and I'm not running to be industrial relations director. If we had an application for that, I probably wouldn't get that, but if the people of Alabama are looking to hire a lawyer, I'm offering myself for that.
What made you decide specifically to run for Attorney General?
Well, what made me run is to look what we've had happen in this state. Now, I jokingly tell people I've got, my oldest son is married. He's getting out of law school next year. My middle child got married this summer during the middle of the runoff, which I really needed. My baby girl just started college this year, and I lost my wife 5 years ago, so I'm a single guy. Instead of getting a hairpiece and buying a convertible, I decided to run for public office. But seriously, my son asked me that question. He said, "Daddy, why in the world, you've built the law practice up, things are going well, why in the world do you want to do this?" And my answer to him was, if people don't offer themselves for public service, you kind of get what a lot of times they want the public to serve them. And so I don't need a job. I've got a great job. I love practicing law, and I was raised to believe that to whom much is given, much is required. That's what Scripture teaches us, and I'm going to do that. I've tried to make myself open. I've released my tax returns and filed them with the Ethics Commission to show that you know, I'm going to take a pay cut, but it also shows I'm a good steward with my money. My pastor saw that some of my money, not all of it, was going to First Methodist Church, so that bothered me a little bit. No, but that's something, you know, to have this opportunity. We've got a situation where the Attorney General's office is bigger than ever. We have this situation that we got with the gambling issue because the Attorney General didn't do anything. He didn't take any action. He sat back and let the governor's task force come in and do things that the Supreme Court said, if you'd done something, if you'd done your job, we wouldn't have to do that. We have one of the worst crises that's ever hit the state. I hope it's not as bad, and I hope we've stopped it, but that BP oil spill, the next Attorney General is going to be the one that directs that litigation. And it's going to be there. It's already been filed. And they need to work with all the cities and all the counties and all the people and work with other states. They need somebody that's used to looking at somebody across a courtroom instead of across a lunch counter. I'm not going to take these folks to lunch. I'm going to have to take them to court. But that's the situation we've got. So it's a point in time in my life where I feel like I'm offering myself to give something back, and maybe it's a little Don Quixote in me that I'm going to make a difference. I'm going to get frustrated. I know that, but we've got to do something here in Alabama. Anything positive is an improvement.
What's your stand on electronic bingo?
Well, I've represented David Warren for the last 3 years. You said, well, who's David Warren? He's the sheriff of Macon County. And I've started representing him before all these raids and stuff started. The sheriff has hired these people that are computer experts and programmers and folks to come down and check these machines out that are running at Victoryland. And he's confirmed, and I'm convinced that it's bingo. It's legal bingo. Just like you have solitaire on a computer. You know, you don't have a deck of cards and stuff, but there is one. So the electronic age the laws need to catch up with the electronic age. The Indians have been playing bingo for years, the electronic bingo. There have been 2 federal cases that say it's legal. There hadn't been a single court in this state that said that the bingo is illegal. The only person that has said that that's illegal is Bob Riley. I mean, and that's just his opinion. He doesn't know anything about it. Before the Victoryland reopened again, after we had the machine certified, when I say we, the sheriff and I invited them, we invited the press to come to Victoryland and show them how this is bingo. It's not a slot machine. If they were slot machines, the Indians would be shut down. The Indians cannot have slot machines. So the Indians have had bingo for years in Oklahoma and Florida and in other states, and that's the thing we've got here. But until we have a court say it's illegal, I think my opinion is that it's legal bingo, like the constitutional amendments say. The other thing we've heard is, well, we have to have uniform laws. Well, we don't have uniform laws over alcohol either. Some counties are dry, some counties are wet. Some counties have sales on Sundays, some don't. So we have to look at the individual counties' constitutional amendments and see what it allows those counties to do. We got 16 counties that have some type of bingo amendment. Some of them have limitations and some of them don't, like the alcohol sales. I'm going to take an oath when I become the Attorney General to uphold the law. If we have courts that say it's illegal, I'll follow those courts. But we haven't had a single court say that yet.
When you look at what's going on in Arizona and Florida, looking to adopt some sort of immigration reform, so kind of same thing. Where do you think what do you think Alabama's stance should be on that, or what would your stance be?
Well, that's a legislative decision. When I'm the Attorney General, I'm going to take an oath to uphold the laws of the state. So if we pass something like that, I'm going to defend that law. And you know, I think that one thing that I would like to see is something that allows me as the Attorney General to do something to these employers. It's hard for me to get upset with someone that's trying to get a job and feed their family. But what's allowing them to do that are the employers that are hiring. And we need something. The city of Huntsville passed something, for example, that said you've got to have 25% of your people, if you're getting tax breaks and benefits that come from this area, that can prove that they live in this area. And then we want to also let you e-certify, which the government allows you to do that, and give us certification that everybody that's working on your job is legal. Now that gives me something. If we had some law like that in the state, that would give me something to go after the pocketbooks of these folks, because that's where, if they don't have jobs, the illegal folks aren't going to come in.
What about the BP lawsuit? Your governor has been very critical of our Attorney General over him filing the BP lawsuit. What's your stand on that?
Well, I talked with Attorney General King about a week ago, and he told me he was going to brief me on those situations, and so I haven't had that briefing yet. My first reaction was I thought it might be early, but I don't know everything that he knows. And so sometimes, you know, as a lawyer, you use the threat of a lawsuit to negotiate and to get your position, and sometimes you just have to file it. Now, and so I don't want to be critical one way or the other. It looks like to me there's been a number of things that BP has said that they were going to do that hadn't happened. It kind of reminds me of what Exxon told those people in Alaska. I saw a show the other day, and they had somebody, they were running some old film from that, and they were talking about 21 years ago when they had the spill. Exxon said the same thing BP's saying. And you talk to those people up there, they're not real pleased with what happened for 21 years. I hope we don't have something that's drawn out that far. I'm thankful that they've got that thing capped, and hopefully it stays that way. But we don't know what all the damage has done. We know it's been millions and hundreds of millions of dollars.
What do you want to say to the voters of the Wiregrass, in specific about James Anderson and your bid?
What I want to tell the people in the Wiregrass is that you have a clear choice between somebody that's been a practicing attorney, that's represented people, that's spent his life here in Alabama representing people and corporations all over the state, and my opponent who's a lobbyist that's never tried a case. And you're going to get an opportunity to hire an attorney on November the 2nd. And the person that you need to hire is somebody that's actually been there and done that. Now, and the big challenge I've got down here, a lot of folks say, well, if you've got an R by your name, that means righteous. If you have a D, that means demonic. But I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to take any Bibles or guns away from anybody. I'm a Democrat. I've been a Democrat all my life. I'm an Alabama Democrat. And the people that say they vote for the person and the man, I want them to look at the person. And I want them to look at the man. And I want them to look at the record and say, and be big enough to go in and vote. I think it's a clear choice. I'm not running to be the industrial development director. I'm running to be your lawyer and represent the people of the state.